Hello students, welcome back. So we'll continue with our class. So today we are in the part 3 and this will be the last part for this chapter, that is chapter 5, human body. Okay, so far we have studied, we have covered human skeleton, right? Now in this topic today we'll study about the joints, okay? Joints. Now, before we start about these joints, since we have covered about the bones in our previous class, so one question: do you know the hardest substance in our body? Okay, which is the hardest substance in our body? So you might be thinking that the hardest substance in our body is the bones, right? But the answer would be the enamel coating on our teeth, okay? That is the hardest substance. So you can note this one down, the enamel coating. Okay, the enamel coating in our teeth, okay? The enamel coating in our teeth is the hardest substance in our body. Okay, so now we'll start with this topic, that is joints. Now, in the last class I have said that our body, an adult body, human body, is composed of 206 bones, all are joined, right? So now we'll study about these joints. Okay, so joint is the meeting point of any two bones, okay? Is the meeting point of any two bones. Now, how they are joined, okay? Because they are held closely by a strong tissue, okay? They are held by a strong tissue which is known as ligaments, and this one is important, okay? Ligaments. Okay. Now, joint is the meeting point of any two bones, and if you are asked how are these joints, these bones, how any two bones, okay, how are they joined? Then you can say because they are held together by a strong tissue known as ligaments. Okay. Now, how many types of joints do we have, students? Now we have two types of joints, okay? Two types of joints. So the first one is immovable joints. Okay, so this would be the bones, like the joints which cannot be moved. And the second one is movable joints, okay? So joints, we have two types of joint, that is immovable and movable, okay? So in this point, for here, I want you to note this one down, okay? This ligament is important, and then write this one down. We have two types of joint, that is immovable and movable, okay? So now we'll discuss both immovable and movable in details. So dear students, the first type of joints will be immovable joints. And why it is immovable? Clear, because now I have discussed about the bones like in the skull, okay? We have 22 bones, right? So now out of 22 bones, only the lower jaw, only this part is movable, and the rest bones are interlocked. Okay, interlock means they are fixed, they cannot be moved. Okay, so you can write the skull, okay, skull bones. The joints in the skull bones, this is immovable, okay. Now, the second one is movable joints. Movable joints. This means those bones where it is movable. Okay, those joints where it is movable. Now we have 4 types of joints under these movable joints. Clear? So the first one is the hinge joint. Okay, Hinge, the hinge joint. So this is the first one. Now the second one is ball and socket joint. Okay, ball and socket joint. And the third one is gliding joint. And the fourth joint, this is the last joint. Okay, this would be the pivot joint. Pivot joint. So these are the 4 types of joints. Okay, these are the 4 types of joints under the movable joints. Clear? And this is very important. So you have to get familiar with all the names. Now, why it is movable joints? Now, say suppose this is one bone and this is one bone. Okay, let's say. Now, here it's a joint. Okay. Now, let's say this one, our elbow. Okay. Now, why it is movable? Because there is a fluid present inside. Okay. There is a fluid present inside the joint which acts as lubricant. Clear? Because why they are movable? Because of the fluid present inside them which act as a lubricant. Okay? So for now, you note all this point down. We will discuss the hinge joint in details. Clear? So you can note all these important points. Okay, so students, the first type of joint under the movable joint, that is the hinge joint. Okay, now you must be familiar with this word hinge. Hinge is that we have in the door. Okay, say suppose this is a door. Okay, this is a door, and then we have a hinge here. Okay, we have a hinge here, and then if you want to open the door, means it can move in one direction, right? It moves because of the hinge. Clear? The door, when you just push the door, it can move in one direction, right? Just one direction. Because why it can move? Because there is a hinge present in the door, right? Since the door is connected with the hinge, that's why it is movable, right? So same like we have a hinge joint in our body as well. Clear? Now where is this hinge present? Hinge is present in the finger. Okay, in the finger, maybe in our elbow. Clear? And in our knees, and then as well as in our toes. Clear? Elbow, in our toes, now knees and finger. Okay, so you can try this activity. You can also try this activity along with me. Now this is my elbow, right? So I can just move in just one direction, right? I cannot move this one towards the right direction or left direction. The only option I have is just one direction. Clear? Or even my finger. Okay, you can try finger C. Can move only in one direction. Or you can try with your toes or with your knees. Okay, we can move only in one direction. So this hinge joint, this is a type of a joint which we have in our body. Clear? Now this type of joint can move only in one direction. Okay, only in one direction. Now you have to know all these parts. Okay, where in our bones, okay, in the joints, where only one direction is possible. The parts are elbow, toes, knees, and finger. And this hinge is like those hinge which is present in the door, okay, in the door. So I'm sure you are clear with the first type of the movable joints. Here, again, I'm repeating, you have to know how many directions they can move, and also in which parts of our body have this hinge joint, okay? So you have to remember these 4 parts. Clear? Now we'll study about the second joint, okay? The second type of movable joint, that is ball and socket joint. So my dear students, I have explained in the last class about the ball and socket joint, okay? Now this is the only joint in our body where we have, where it allows a maximum movement, okay? Maximum direction it can twist, clear? Like we have in the hip and shoulder joint, hip and shoulder joint. So when I say ball and socket joint, that means the hip and the shoulder joint. The hip and the shoulder joint. See, you can also try, okay? You can try, I'm sure some of you like dancing, or some of you like to work out, right? So we utilize our feet as well as our hand, right? And why is that possible? Because of the ball and socket joint, okay? Ball and socket joint. So you have to keep this in mind, and you have to keep the parts that are involved in this ball and socket joint, that is hip and shoulder joint, okay? Now, why maximum movement here is allowed? Because, like I have said, the ending point of one bone is in the shape of a ball, okay? And then it is attached to the hip through a socket, okay? That's why it can twist. Clear? Now we have the third type of a joint, that would be the gliding joint, okay? Gliding joint. That is gliding joint. Now you have to keep this in mind, gliding, okay? So this is the third type of the movable joint. And because of this joint, you know, we can twist, okay? We can twist our ankle, okay? We can turn your wrist, right? See, I can twist my wrist, right? Or what you can do is, see, you can turn around, right? You can turn around. So the parts that are involved in this gliding joint are ankle, okay? Ankle, our wrist, and see, like I've said, in the last class I have discussed about our backbone, right? Now it is made up of 33 small bones, which are known as vertebra, okay? So in any two vertebra, between any two vertebra, it can, there is a gliding joint, okay? That's why we can twist, we can turn our backbone, right? We can turn around. So you can write in the spine, okay? Between any two vertebra. Clear? So now I'm sure you are clear with the first three. Now we have the last joint, okay? The last type of joint, movable joint, that would be the pivot joint. P-I-V-O-T, okay? Pivot joint. Now, students, our skull, okay? The human skull is attached with the spine. If this is skull, then see, it is attached with the spine, okay? Now, so this is the joint which is present in this neck part, okay, between the skull and our neck, okay. Now, because of this pivot joint, we can just look up, I can look down, okay. I can look towards the right, I can look towards the left side because of this pivot joint, okay. Now, it is present between the human skull and the uppermost two. See, we have, okay, so let's say this is the human spine, this is the skull, and this is the spine, okay. So the first two, okay, the first two vertebra, the first two spine, okay, the first two spine, between the first two spine and the skull, it is joint, okay. There we will find this gliding joint, pivot joint, okay. We'll find this pivot joint between the first two spine and the skull, okay. So you can keep this in mind. Now here, one point you can note down, okay. One point you can note down. The uppermost one, we have 33 small bones, right? So the first one, the first one is known as atlas, okay, atlas, A-T-L-A-S. Clear? So students, we are done with these 4 types of movable joints. And in this chapter, we have last topic left, that is about our muscles, okay, muscles. Okay, so students, our last topic for today would be muscles and movement, okay. This is the last topic for this chapter as well. Now, students, without this muscle, we cannot move, okay. Only our bones, like, it's not able, just our bone, it's not, human bones is not sufficient for walking or for moving, okay. It is because of this muscle we are able to move, okay. Now, this muscle is attached with the bones. Clear? This muscles is attached with the bones. Now, how it is attached? It is attached with the help of a strong, muscles are attached with bones with the help of a strong fiber known as tendons, okay. So this you have to keep in mind. Because of these tendons, the muscles are attached with the bones, and because of this we are able to walk, okay, we are able to move. Clear? Now this muscles, okay, muscles is the only cell in our body. Muscle is the human muscle, okay, muscle cells are only cells in the human body which can contract and relax. Clear? Which can contract as well as relax. When I say contract and relax, you can just do this activity along with me, okay? You can just raise your lower arm, and so this is the bicep and this is the tricep, right? So what you can do is you can just raise this lower one, okay? Your lower arm upward. Whenever you just pull this one upward, then this our bicep contract, okay? And at the same time, this our tricep, right? So when our bicep contract, the tricep relax, okay? When bicep contract, the tricep relax, okay? Now, when the tricep contracts, the bicep relax. They work together in pair, and they work in opposite direction, okay? Just keep this in mind. These muscles, the muscles inside the human body, they work together in pair and in opposite direction. Such as, one example is, when our bicep contracts, the tricep relax, right? Now, when the bicep relax, the tricep contract. Clear? So, the first part of this muscle and movement is done, and we have different types of muscles which we will continue in the next class. So you note down all the important points. I'll see you in the next class. Thank you.